He told the world what he was worth. Then he went out and made the world believe it. Now the Seattle Seahawks just opened up the vault and handed over 168 million reasons why you never bet against a man who knows exactly who he is. Jaxon Smith-Njigba is officially the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. And the craziest part, he earned this contract before he even signed it. Let's get straight to the numbers because they are eye-popping. 4 years, $168.8 million. That averages out to over $42 million per season. And the guaranteed money, north of $120 million, that is not just a contract, that is a franchise-altering commitment. This comes after a 2025 season where Smith-Njigba did something no one saw coming. He led the entire National Football League in receiving yards with nearly 1,800. 119 catches, 10 touchdowns. Then he tacked on almost 200 more yards in the playoffs and helped carry Seattle to their second Super Bowl title in franchise history. Oh, and he also took home AP Offensive Player of the Year. Not a bad resume builder. Now let's pump the brakes and look at the bigger picture, because this didn't happen overnight. When Seattle grabbed him with the 20th pick in the 2023 draft, people liked the talent but wondered about the fit. His rookie year, 628 yards. Fine, nothing special. Year 2, he cracked 1,000 for the first time, 1,130 yards. You could see the arrow pointing up. But 2025 was the explosion. And here's what makes this whole thing so perfect. After the Super Bowl, standing in his hometown of Dallas, JSN looked into a camera and said he deserved to be the highest paid receiver in football. No humble act, no cliche about just wanting to win. He said, I give it my all, and that's worth a lot more. Most players say that and then spend the next year hoping the market agrees. The Seahawks didn't even wait for training camp. They saw a man who called his shot and then backed it up with a Super Bowl ring. That is the kind of confidence you pay for. Let's get into the deep analysis, because this is where the smart football minds separate themselves from the casual takes. Strategically, Seattle just bet the house on a guy who has one truly dominant season on his resume.
On the surface, that sounds dangerous.
But let's dig deeper. Smith-Njigba is 24 years old. He just led the league in receiving while playing in an offense that also featured Cooper Kupp, Rashid Shaheed, and a deep rotation of weapons. That means he wasn't just eating because the ball had to go somewhere. He was winning against the best cornerbacks on the field every single week. The risk is real, though. When you pay a non-quarterback this kind of money, something else has to give. The salary cap is a zero-sum game. But Seattle is betting that JSN is the engine, not just a part. And when you look at what they are bringing back in 2006, Kupp on the other side, Shaheed locked up for 3 years at $51 million. Young guys like Jake Bobo and Torrey Horton in the mix. They are keeping the band together. The danger here is complacency. The NFL is filled with stories of wide receivers who got the massive extension and then never replicated the contract year magic. But here is the difference. JSN didn't have a contract year explosion. He had the explosion, won the Super Bowl, and then got the money. That is actually a better sign for Seattle. He proved he could do it when the lights were brightest and the pressure was already maxed out. The fan base is absolutely losing it. In the best way, Seahawks fans are already calling this the most important contract in franchise history since Russell Wilson's prime. And honestly, can you blame them? They watched this team go 14-3, rip off a 7-game winning streak to close the regular season, then absolutely destroy the 49ers in the divisional round 41-6 before squeezing past the Rams in a 4-point thriller for the NFC Championship. The Super Bowl against New England was a defensive masterpiece. That unit they call the dark side made Drake May's life miserable all game long. 29-13, Smith-Njigba only had 27 yards in that game, but let's not forget, without his 153-yard performance against the Rams in the NFC title game, they never even get to the Super Bowl. The media reaction is split down the middle. The big market talking heads are asking the obvious question, do you pay a guy who had 27 yards in the Super Bowl that kind of money? The smarter analysts are pointing out that without him, there is no Super Bowl appearance to even talk about. That is the difference between looking at a box score and understanding the full picture. So what happens next? I see two roads for the Seattle Seahawks. Smith-Njigba takes this contract as validation, not a finish line. He comes back with the same edge, knowing the target on his back is now the size of the Pacific Northwest. The chemistry with the quarterback only gets better. Seattle runs it back with the same core. The defense stays elite, and they become the first team since the early 2000s Patriots to win back-to-back championships. In this world, $168 million looks like the bargain that built a dynasty. The Super Bowl hangover hits harder than anyone expected. The pressure of being the highest-paid receiver in history starts to weigh. Defenses sell out completely to take him away, and without the element of surprise from last year's magical run, the offense stagnates. Seattle misses the playoffs, and suddenly the conversation shifts to whether you can build a roster around a receiver making quarterback money when you don't have a top 5 quarterback on a rookie deal anymore. Here is what I keep coming back to. Jaxon Smith-Njigba looked at the NFL, looked at the history books, looked at the money that was out there, and said, that should be mine. Then he went out and made it his. Now the real question is whether he can do it again when everyone is watching, everyone is game planning for him, and everyone wants to knock the king off the mountain. Here is my question for you. Is Jaxon Smith-Njigba the best wide receiver in football right now, or did the Seahawks just pay premium price for one magical season? And if you had to build a franchise today, are you taking him over Justin Jefferson, over JaMarr Chase? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and if you want to stay locked in on every massive contract and every move that shapes the NFL landscape, hit that subscribe button. We don't miss